Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays. Um, Today I'm going to show some movies by an actor. Uh, the actor is Glenn Ford, and I'm just going to cover some of my favorite westerns that he did. Now, Glenn Ford was originally from Quebec, I believe, in Canada. Moved here in the 30s, somewhere in there. Started with bit parts and moved his way up to better roles by the 1950s. He was in World War II, and he was I believe he was in the service before he became an actor. Um, so yeah. Anyways, Glenn Ford, he's got a face and a voice that just one of those unmistakable voices and stuff like that. I guess growing up watching TV, I've seen him on different maybe TV shows, maybe some other movies. I mean, even in the '80s, he did some horror movies. Um, he did like an early slasher movie in the '80s, TV movies, and really cool actor. He's made some legendary westerns, and you know, to continue my uh, westerns of summer 2020, just showing great westerns that I'm watching during this summer. I'm gonna do Glenn Ford. No, this episode, this is part one, and I'm gonna show some of his best known westerns, and then I'm gonna have a part two of some of his other westerns. So let's get right to it. This was a movie from 1954. This is a movie called The Violent Men. This was a movie made for Columbia, and it stars Barbara Stanwyck, Edward G. Robinson, and has a early role Brian Keith. Of course, Glenn Ford starring in it, and it's kind of a movie of a kind of a guy comes, helps out the family farm. There's this big cattle dynasty that Edward G. Robinson built up, and his daughter, his only daughter, will soon take it all over. And she's very like bloodthirsty. She's just can't wait to take it all over. She's very greedy, very mean and cruel. Edward G. Robinson's in bad health. Anyway, it's been done before in westerns. The kind of the plot of the rich cattle baron and his daughter or son and someone encroaching on that. And that's kind of what this is. But this is really played out well. Rudolph Maté was a director. He's a well-known, I think he was like an art director. He started out art direction, a lot of memorable movies in Hollywood in the 30s, I believe. And it's a great movie. You should check it out. Definitely one of the best westerns of the 50s. And highly recommend that, The Violent Men. Next up, I got a movie that's on a Criterion Blu-ray. It is Jubal, or Jubal. It's kind of an odd name. I've seen this movie for years and never really paid attention. I just always caught the name Jubal. I was like, what is that? What is that? At first time I glanced at it, I thought it was a foreign movie or something. I would go check out Criterions and stuff. And later I found out that this is one of Glenn Ford's best movies, and one of Delmer Daves, the director, one of his best known westerns of the 50s. So Glenn Ford joined up with director Delmer Daves and made some great westerns in the 50s. This one came out in 1956, and it's basically he's a guy comes down out of literally comes out of the wilderness, walks out of the mountains. The movie opens and comes across this little ranch, and It's got Ernest Borgnine in it, and he gives him a job at his ranch. It's kind of a seasonal type of job and stuff like that. So the only thing is, Edward G. Robinson has a very beautiful fiance that he's going to marry. And of course, she's basically flirting with all the men that works there. It's kind of a small crew. But you see that tension between the male-female tension, and she kind of pushes him to his limits, and he's a good man, and everything. So it's really good. It's got that tension there. It's got the, like, maybe this is one of the, the westerns, psychological westerns, very mature westerns, dark, more mature westerns. Then this isn't like a cowboy Indians movie that the kids would see at a matinee. This is more adult themed. Great western, beautiful western. This is a great edition on Criterion Blu-ray. I highly recommend it. Next up, I saw this for the first time just the other day. I bought this recently. It's The Fastest Gun Alive, and this came out in I believe 1955. 56, I'm sorry. And Glenn Ford, stars Glenn Ford, Janine Crane, Roderick Crawford, and Russ Tamblyn, and directed by Russell Rose. Basically, Glenn Ford is in this little town. He's a shopkeeper with his wife. They're new to town. They've lived there maybe a year. He's very unassuming, very quiet. He's got a great reputation in town. Everyone knows him and likes him and stuff. But one day, he kind of lets his who he really is out, where there's this tension between his wife and him, and trying to do the good life when he knows he's a bad guy, or he's had a bad life in the past, and he's trying to start over and not be a gunslinger and not be everything. So some of the townsfolk are sitting around and they're talking about gunslingers, and I could do this and I could do that, and this guy's so good, and Glenn Ford basically shows him like who he really is with the gun. It's pretty spectacular to me. I really liked it. I've read some reviews where they kind of crapped on it. Roderick Crawford's kind of plays the heavy, one of the bad guys. The other great gunslinger. So, but I liked it. And I thought it was a really good movie. Watching it for the first time, I was really surprised about some of the turns it took, and it was really good. I really liked it. The Fastest Gun Alive. Next up, another movie from Delmer Daves, and also on a Criterion Blu-ray edition. This is 3:10 to Yuma. Very famous, great western of the 50s. Came out in 1957, starring Glenn Ford, Van Heflin, Felicia Farr. Based on a Elmore Leonard book story. Like I said, Delmer Daves directed it. Such a tense movie. Glenn Ford plays the bad guy that has been captured, and they're going to put him on the train at 3:10, and Van Heflin is the good guy that's got to basically keep him under wraps until the train comes to put him on there. So his outlaws come to try to break him out, break him free before then, and everything. And it's a well-known story. It was remade with Russell Crowe, I believe in 2007, maybe. That movie's good too. I thought, I actually seen the remake first and really liked it and stuff, and then I finally got to see the original, and I just really love the original. It's filmed in black and white. It's got this tense atmosphere going on between them. It's just a great movie, just a standoff, just the back and forth between them two. It's really, really good. Highly recommend 3:10 to Yuma. If you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. And this is a great Blu-ray to pick up. So there you go. And next up, guys, and very last one. This is a movie from 1958. This is Cowboy, and this is a Twilight Time release, which went out of business recently. So you might be able to find this. It might be a little pricier now since they went out of business, and these are all out of print. But this was I believe this was the last teaming of Glenn Ford and Delmer Daves. He directed this one also. Great movie. It's got Jack Lemmon, Dick York from Bewitched, the always great Richard Jekyll. Great movie. I found Jack Lemmon at times to be slightly annoying because you had the seriousness of the cowboy life kind of thing, and Glenn Ford's very stoic and very serious, and Jack Lemmon's got a little bit of comedy flair and stuff. He plays the hotel clerk that wants to, basically live as a cowboy for a certain amount of time to see what it's really like he could do it, and he finds it to be very difficult, being that he's a city slicker and all. So, but overall, it's a very good movie. I guess the first time I saw it, I kind of felt that way about Jack Lemmon. If anybody knows who Jack Lemmon is, you can kind of know his persona and how he kind of carries himself in movies. He's kind of got that. He kind of has those short takes, with his, he's kind of like, kind of stuff, and it leads you to think he's doing a comic role at times, and it was a little kind of like, I wish he was just more serious, but overall, it's a very good movie. I mean, that's just my crazy opinion. It's a really good movie. This disc actually has an audio commentary. Got an isolated musical score on second channel or third channel, and it's a great movie to pick it up. I would highly recommend this. I discovered the teaming of Delmer Daves and Glenn Ford, and I kind of went out a few years ago and was kind of hunting them down, and I was watching them. Like one month I would get 310, and another month I would get this, and I would just, I was kind of enjoying the little slices of movie cake that, Delmer Daves and Glenn Ford did. Great teaming, director-actor teaming. Some other good Western actor teamings were James Stewart and Anthony Mann, and, of course, John Wayne and John Ford, of course. Legendary teaming right there. But these are some great movies. Go out and see them. Even if you're not a Western fan, they got such great stories that you can kind of see past it. It's not just Indians. I think each one of these has no Indian attacks and stuff. It's just basically a town and stuff happening in the towns. So yeah, each one of them is just basically character studies. Very mature movies, not silly cowboy movies. Really good, serious adult stories. So yeah, go pick them up. And there you go, guys. I'm gonna have a part 2 on Glenn Ford. I got a few more movies that I picked up recently to show some of his later career in westerns. And there you go. So guys, if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when I release a new video like part 2. And comment and let me know what you thought about what I was saying about Glenn Ford and some of the directors, or how I felt about Cowboy and Jack Lemmon. Just let me know in comments. I would love to hear some comments about it. And if you really like this movie episode, just give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And I just want to also say thank you to all the subscribers. I've had kind of the increase lately, and had a little small increase in subscribers. And I just want to thank everyone that watches, that subscribes. I hope you guys really enjoy these. And just let me know some things you want me to do in the future. That would be really challenging for me, and be something that look forward to. So anyway, guys, till next time, everybody be safe out there during this COVID-19 issue we got going on, and just be safe, and watch good movies, and I'll see you next time.